Está bueno, what the
How's it going, everybody? And welcome to Community G. Another Friday night, and we're back. How's it going, Manny?
It's going good, man. It's going good. Before we go, I want to give a quick little shout out to Sass Sisters. I got a little bit of their pastry, and obviously, I'm drinking the G's Only beer. This shit is fire, man. Common Corners. You guys outdid yourself. This is fucking delicious, man. If you haven't tried it and you bought some, you're gonna love it.
And you know what? I've been seeing that all over Twitter, on Instagram, so I think that's really cool. Y Baltasar, ¿cómo estamos? Ya tu segunda semana, ¿cómo estás?
Bien, bien, gracias aquí de nuevo a tirar desmadre.
Y mira,
huevo.
esta semana, este viernes, sí hay mucho de qué hablar. There's a lot of stuff going on. There's the news that we will probably be back to the stadium, which is really exciting. There's confirmation of players that are coming that were officially signed. There's rumors of players that are very close to signing with the team. There's a preseason schedule. So ahorita sí hay un poquito de todo. Ahorita
Yep.
ya es tiempo de empezar
Liga
a
G
ver.
drama, Liga Galaxia, the
Eh,
tournament, everything.
Hey,
Awesome.
Manny,
Everything.
my team is still undefeated in the Liga Galaxia tournament, so I'm really happy. We've been winning.
I didn't play yesterday because I didn't have no Wi-Fi, but I heard we won.
Halo,
So,
pues.
well, Cerotes ganamos. We're gonna be first place. We're gonna win that tournament. I don't give a fuck.
You know what? I'm really happy so far. You know what? I feel that in the Xbox League, there's not a lot of pressure. I just don't feel the pressure. Where in the PS4 League, I just feel the pressure. And I'm always yelling at Baltasar and Alex and all these guys. And then in the Xbox League, I don't even talk. I don't even say anything. So, right?
Well, why you
Chucky?
say that? Now you put a target. Now you put a target on
Yeah.
us. Now, Cerote. Now when we go play with straight for the stands.
No,
now
I'm
they
not
go-
saying I'm not saying we're like good and no, I'm just saying me personally as a defender, I don't feel the pressure. Like I don't feel
El gritón sos
nervous.
vos.
Yeah, no, but hey, en el Xbox, no, ahí no.
Yeah.
All right, man. Let's get started. You know what? I'm really happy because we have another guest this week, and this is a guest that is the owner of Countercode, and that's Victor. I'm a big fan of his stuff, and I'm pretty sure you guys feel the same way. First off, Victor, thank you for being with us. How's it going? How are you?
Hey, how's it going, everyone? Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be on. It's a really cool podcast. Yeah, just very excited.
And you know what? Just to get started and break the ice a bit, how did you become a Galaxy fan?
Well, I guess my story is like pretty familiar with everyone. At least it's been there from the beginning. Like my parents, my dad specifically, big soccer fan. He's Guatemalan, immigrant, came over here back, in the 80s. And yeah, once the league started in 96, we were there, from day one, very first game, just like April 96 or something. And then from there, like the first few seasons, like I'm not exaggerating when I say that we pretty much went to every home game. My dad was a part of the Galaxians for a while, back in the day. And it just kind of became like this like love and passion for the game and, seeing Central American players like Luis Fuegos, Chep Machon when he joined in 97, like it was just really easy to identify with that team and that kind of culture that kind of was there at the time, but now yet more so has kind of grown with everyone, all of these second generation kids that, have very much the same story as I do. And now that we're adults and, we have money and we can afford to kind of, go to, season tickets, all that thing. Like it's really cool to see that I'm not the only one that kind of experienced that and everyone else. That love that I have for the team and that culture is shared amongst many different people.
It's kind of funny you say that because us going into the Coliseum and going to see those games, maybe you didn't have that as passion as your dad or your uncles, the people that take you. And then now that like we're probably like their age and we're taking our kids, our passion is like either the same or more because
Yeah.
we've grown with the whole local team. You know what I mean? So
Yeah. It's because when obviously, like my dad, for example, he went, 96. There weren't any Guatemalan players in that that first season, but the fact that we had a soccer team, was a big deal for my dad. And he's like, I want you to experience this. And those memories are just so vivid, going to the Rose Bowl, taking a soccer ball, and, back then the Rose Bowl, you park at the grass, and you just kind of tailgate there. And, I'd always take my soccer ball and kick the ball around with my dad. And then we'd go to the stadium and getting the program that day and just like ripping it up and using that as confetti, when the Galaxy scored or whatever. And then now, like you said, I feel like I agree with you where it's like the passion that they had for us, it's kind of even more because, it's that same love for the game, but even more so because we grew up with this team.
I was gonna say, and more that like I think that we're more invested in it, probably because we grew into it more, and and they set the foundation of how for us to be fans and how us to love a team and fall in love with the sport. Because without them, we'll be kind of like green light right now. But for their experience, for them putting us through that, I love it. I love the sport, and I love it because it connects with my dad, connects with my grandfather, it connects with my uncles, even from Guatemala, from El Salvador, it connects us universally.
Of course, the game itself is universal, but even more so, when you have that local connection, it's really cool, and especially to have people like all of you to share that with.
And then you spoke about growing up, going to the Rose Bowl. Growing up, what are like some of the biggest memories that you have about the Galaxy?
Well, like I said, like going, like those memories of just, I was small. I was 96. I was like 8 years old. So just that whole experience of heading, driving to the Rose Bowl. I don't know if you guys remember, but like just like once you get off the freeway and like those very narrow streets that go through all these nice houses, like even going through that was like almost like 45 minutes until you finally made it to the parking lot. And then once you're there, you see like they'd have like these giant blow up soccer balls and that whole, pregame experience and just all of that. Just kind of, I just hold those memories very dear to my heart. Just thinking about it almost gets me a little emotional because, again, it's that connection with the game and my dad, and it just, now it just kind of comes full circle with all of this. But let's see. One of the biggest memories that I have, and I wasn't there, the game was away, but the 2002 or 2001, our first MLS Cup with Pescadito, that goal. Again, I come from a Guatemalan family. I remember that day, it was a Saturday or a Sunday, it was a weekend. We were getting ready to go to a party. It was like at one of my cousin's house. And we were watching the game. I remember my mom's in the living room, like ironing shirts, ironing her clothes. And my dad and I like glued to the TV watching the game. And then, extra time when Pescadito scored that goal, like my dad and I are in the living room on our knees, like screaming. And we even started crying because, it was just this crazy thing to see the team that we grew up with, the team that I grew up with, finally win that first cup. And then having it being won by, one of our own, a Guatemalan. That was just a really amazing experience. And my dad and I were, in the living room on our knees, we were crying, we were excited. And that's something I'm never going to forget. And again, it's just one of those things that, one of those experiences and memories that this game gives you. And that's what like really makes you, that love for the game, just, it's multiplied like exponentially because it's such a strong feeling behind that.
Yeah, and then we
pregunta, ¿cómo comparas ese momento, like del 2002, con el momento de Zlatan, cuando Zlatan debutó contra el LAFC?
¿Sabes qué? Yo compré boletos para ese partido y los compré like at face value. It was like, $40, $50 or whatever. I got them at the Riot Squad section. Y de último, mi sister se le ocurrió que quería celebrar no sé qué. Ella vive en el norte y nos fuimos. Pero tuve que vender mi boleto, so vendí mi boleto online. En StubHub o algo así y me acuerdo que inmediatamente I was like whatever, like me lo perdí, lo voy a ver otra vez y sí hice un poquito de dinero because it was like a big deal, es LAFC, creo que los vendí como por ciento y algo. No era mi meta venderlos por dinero, pero pues por la situación los tuve que vender y I was like whatever. Y luego viendo ese partido con mi papá en la sala en la casa de mi hermana, like seeing Zlatan do what he did, I was like, fuck, like really? Like I could have been there. And I remember I was like so pissed off and I was like texting like my girlfriend, I was like, fuck, like can you believe this shit? Like, I tenía boletos for this thing and I missed it.
Did they have like a video on you? Like if it was like a baby shower or a baby reveals party, did they have a video on you when they scored that? You would have been like, man, F this shit, man.
For real, dude. I was so pissed off, but at the same time, like, just kind of immediately, I was like really excited because, like, holy shit, this guy just fucking did this amazing thing. But then luego, I was like, fuck, you know, like I could have been there. And then all my friends were there, and they were posting shit and texting, and I was like, fuck. But you know, whatever. It is what it is. It was still exciting watching it through the television, 300 miles away, but it was. I would say that still the Pescadito thing. To answer your question, the Pescadito fue la más, una experiencia más, por decirlo, hermosa para mí.
You know what? I think you're right about, like you say, the experience that you weren't there, because me at halftime being down, I think it was like 2-3-0. I was like, you know what, I just want to go. But I ended up not going, and if I would have left, I think I would have been so mad because of the comeback. Kind of like, I think it was like 2011 in Champions League when we played Morelia, and I went with my dad to that game, and then he was like, okay, let's go. I missed the Juninho tying goal at the end of the match. And it's something, yeah, it's like those things that I'm like, man, that's why my rule is like, I don't like leaving early because you don't know what you're going to miss. But yeah, you mentioned the Riot Squad. Do you usually sit with the Riot Squad, or are you part of a supporter group, or how's your game day experience?
My game day experience is most of my friends are part of Lars. But I
want to give him a shout out. Shout out to Lars and Barcelona for making the playoff.
Barcelona.
Hey.
So it's, I guess I could break it down in stages. So growing up, again, my dad was Galaxian, so we took the Galaxians, and then I kind of got separated from the game for a few years when I was a teenager. Like I got into skateboarding and doing stupid shit. But then later on, like after high school, I came back to the game and started going to games again. And then I sat with ACB for a long time, and that was cool. But then after, I made a lot of friends that sat in Lars, and so then I started going to Lars a lot. So really what my game day experience is like is just getting there. I went to Dominguez Hills. That's where I graduated from. So I would sometimes get there really early to get free parking. Because I had
do you still have that? Do you still have that? Can I borrow it?
Asking for a friend?
We gotta go back.
Don't look at Chapin. Chapin's gonna want to take that away. But remember, I asked you first. I have proof.
Just to get there early, and some of my friends llegaban temprano también, so we just be drinking or whatever. But yeah, ahorita el último, as I've gotten older, I kind of like to experience that game. I really like to I love the supporter section, like ambiente and being there and chanting for the team. But like sometimes I kind of feel like I miss a few things of the game too. Like find myself looking at the highlights later on, and like, oh shit, when did this happen? And so like now I just kind of like to sit and just kind of really watch the game and enjoy it. I still sit in Lars, but towards the top where I can really just kind of get a view of the action. Yeah, just getting there early, tailgating, drinking, getting maybe sometimes a little too drunk.
I think we all do that. That's normal, I guess. Whether you're in Lars, ACB, with us, Galaxians, it doesn't matter. Even if you're just a regular G, you're pretty much out there just drinking, and hopefully you don't have too much to drink.
But bajar los nervios before the game.
That can be hard, not having too much to drink.
Especially if you walk around with people just be like, hey, you want a beer? All right, cool, fuck it.
Free beers, free alcohol, that's dangerous, man. Because especially if you know a lot of people, like you caminas and like, hey, come here, and then like,
hey, we had a homie, his name is Gio. He was walking around giving away free shots from home opener, and they went through 10 bottles.
Fuck that.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm a big fan of what you're doing with Counter Codes, and let's go ahead and start touching on that. When was it that the idea of Counter Code came to you?
And the name.
Yeah, so that idea was kind of brewing in my, at least not the name, but just like wanting to do something like this was kind of brewing in my head for probably a couple of years now. I'd be lying if I said that these different, these other brands, like companies, whatever you want to call them, seeing them create their own things, I'm like, you know what, like I've been wanting to do this for a long time too, and these people are just like saying fuck it and doing it, so I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna do it too. I feel like I have some ideas that I think people would like really ultimately what Counter Code is for me is like I like creating things that I wish existed, And if people like it, then that's fucking dope, you know? Like, and so, yeah, a couple of years it was brewing, and then finally, after, you know, just kind of seeing different things, and just I'm just like, fuck it, the way I said, you know? And I did it, and everyone, I was really kind of taken back by the way that people kind of embraced it all, and they were very willing to kind of share and even just purchase. You know, I remember just like the first time I launched, you know, things, it was crazy to see all these people wanting to buy all my stuff. And it was really cool, very humbling. It made, I'd be lying if I said that it made me feel very good, because it really did. And that kind of inspires me to kind of keep creating now, you know? And as far as the name, again, it's like, I think I have it on my website too, where it's like, you know, growing up with the game, it was never like it was never mainstream, you know. Aquí en Estados Unidos, it's all about, you know, basketball, football, you know, baseball. It's sports that I never really identified with, you know, I'm not going to say that I don't like any other sports. I just never really had that connection that I had with soccer, you know, with football. And then, so it always felt like, you know, as I got older, I learned more. It really felt like it was like this counterculture, you know, where it wasn't mainstream. It was always something that you'd be into that really no one else was. I remember I was in high school, you know, middle school, talking to people about soccer. They didn't give a shit, you know. Like, you know, it was just really, you know, I had a couple of friends outside of school que les gustaban football, and we talk about it. But, you know, as far as like my main core group of friends, I didn't really have anyone to talk about it to. So it always felt like I was kind of on my own for a while. But, you know, ahora, you know, when I'm older and I see all of you people and, you know, that whole Galaxy community and just the soccer community in general, it's nice to see that, you know, there are a lot of people that share that same love. And, you know, I wish I would have known all y'all, you know, growing up.
It's funny because, like, you know, I was going to speak for myself. My dad was always into soccer.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, the mainstream was always basketball, football, baseball, and stuff like that. I didn't really start playing soccer until I was like 13, 14.
Mm-hmm.
I would go to games with my dad. Like I said, I would go and experience. I would know about the sport, but I was never really into it as much. You know what I mean? My older brothers were into the sport. They played as there was kids. They played. My dad had a team. You know what I mean? Like the whole father experience. You have a team. You have your boys in there. And then one thing he's like, "Hey, you never played." I'm like, "Well, I've always played basketball." You know what I mean? That was my sport at that time.
Yeah.
When I got into 13, that's when my dad was like, "Hey, you're into soccer now?" I'm like, "Yeah." That's when I started learning more about Kobe Jones, you know, DeMarcus Beasley, about all of those guys that are coming in for the U.S. I'm like, oh man, you know, Alexi Lalas. I'm like, okay, I was a straight heart USA fan.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That was my team. And then people are like USA. I'm like, people go from Mexico, people go for Guatemala, Salvador. I'm like, yeah, I'm from there, and I cheer for them, but I want to go for USA. Like, nobody likes them or something against them. Same thing with the whole Galaxy started. Like, well, what's wrong with them? Like, you know what I mean? Just because you guys don't like them or it's not mainstream, it doesn't matter. It's still our club. It's still us.
Yeah. It's funny you mentioned that because, you know, I know this is a Galaxy podcast, you know, but like growing up also, like, but my two, like with soccer, my two biggest loves, and to this day continues to be my, you know, my passions and love for the game, or what I identify the most with is the Galaxy and the USMNT. Like, Estados Unidos, like growing up, like Kobe Jones was like everything to me because he played for the Galaxy and he played for the US. You know, like I remember as a kid, I had a replica kit of Kobe Jones, the jersey with like the horizontal stripe with the 13 in the middle.
Yeah, the horizontal blue with the red with the little blue.
Yeah,
and
I know. I had that. It was like a fake one that I got at the swap meet or something, but like I would wear that shit.
In Alameda swap meet or what?
What's up?
In Alameda swap meet or the Pico
Callejones.
Yeah.
Like you said, like growing up with, you know, these like, you know, fucking Kobe Jones and Alexi Lalas and Winalda and Preki and all these guys who, when you were a kid, they're kind of your heroes, you know. But also, you know, my dad being a big Guatemala fan, like I also grew up with la Selección de Guatemala, you know, like Pin Plata and Ruano and all those guys, you know, from back in the day. I went to the Coliseo. I probably saw, as a kid, Guatemala play live more than I did the US. You know,
they're always playing El Salvador on those charity matches, or they're playing anytime they play El Salvador to go get los putazos over there.
Ellos jugaban como 20 veces en el año.
It was
See,
funny because it's funny because my dad and my mom, like my mom is Salvi and my dad is
Uh-huh.
Chapin, right? So when we'll go to the game, my mom will wear Salvador and my dad will wear, Chapin, and that'll be half and half, whatever. And the
Yeah.
brothers would be split, whatever. But my mom would talk so much shit to my dad, like, you know what I mean? Like, come mierda, cerote, you know what I mean? They will come out mad like the whole night. They'll
Yeah.
come out mad, whoever wins.
Yeah, and I actually have a funny story. So like, it was Copa Oro of the '90s. I can't remember what year it was. Maybe you guys can fill me either in the comments on the video, or maybe even you guys can remember what year this was. But it was at the Coliseo. It was a double header. I remember it was Copa Oro. I know it was at Copa Oro for sure. It was the one year that Brazil was like invited as a special guest or something.
That was 98.
Okay, well, so 98. So then it was a double header at the Coliseo. Brazil, I don't remember who they played against. Remember that both the U.S. and Guatemala were playing. They were playing each other, but one of them, it was one game each, or something along those lines. Maybe I'm wrong, but I remember it was there. And we were in line. It was fucking pouring. Like, estaba lloviendo like crazy. We were in line back then at the Coliseo. Like, I don't know if you guys have been there recently, but the Coliseo now, it has like a steel fence around it, so you can't get into like where you used to get tickets. So back then, we were waiting in line there to get tickets. I remember my dad, he didn't buy tickets before, so compró boletos the day of the game from like a scalper on the street. And so we were in line for, once we got to the stadium, just getting into the stadium was like an hour line, probably longer. Estaba lloviendo muy fuerte. It was crazy. We didn't have an umbrella. We were getting drenched and soaked. And then once we got to the entrance, to the gates, they scanned my ticket. It's cool, whatever, it works. And then once they scanned my dad's ticket, was behind me. Turns out the tickets were fake, they hadn't entrar, and they're like, hey, you can't go in there. And then, but my dad started freaking out because I didn't notice that he stayed behind, and so I kept walking into the stadium with all these people, and my dad started screaming like, hey, my son's in there, and they thought he was lying because this guy just shows up with a random ticket and now he's saying he has a son there. That's probably bullshit. I remember like eventually they listened to him and they got me and they put me with my dad, but we parked at some random house that was selling parking spots in their driveway or whatever. But we were blocked in.
That was probably still there at the house selling parking lots.
Probably, dude. Probably. So nos parqueamos ahí en una casa, but then they sold their whole driveway, so we were blocked off. So we had to go back to the car and listen to the game on the radio and wait until it was over, until all these people came back from the game and leave until we can go home. So I'll never forget that because it was pouring. We were in the car listening to the game on the radio. It was probably like on KTMU or 1020 AM or something like that. Veloz Gonzalez. But yeah, that was crazy. I'll never forget that. But again, just one of those things. One of those stories that kind of.
I have a question. Now that you said that you go with your dad to the Coliseum and stuff like that, pouring rain and stuff like that. Does your dad? I don't know if you have kids or not, but does your dad we're just like, well, fuck it. Aguantar, like, hey, it's raining, fuck it, it was raining, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like me, like now my dad, so I'm like, oh, I gotta take his jacket, I gotta take, ponchos, water, you know what I mean? I gotta be all that. And my dad was like, didn't care none of that. He's like, hey, shit, you have a jersey? Oh, well, that's it, that's all you got.
My dad didn't give a shit. My mom would be the one que se preocupaba, being like, oh, no, mijo, con poncho y con un gorro, sombría, whatever. But
dale nylon para que se lo lleve.
Yeah, bro.
La bolsa de basura.
Yeah, a fucking trash bag. Like, I don't know, like Guatemala, one time they played at Angel Stadium against like some Caribbean team. Y también estaba lloviendo bien crazy, and we didn't have umbrellas. We found like a trash bag, and that's what we were using.
Yeah.
But yeah, just all of those things kind of helped build that love and that passion, that connection to the game. It's things that you just kind of never leave you.
He said, Marvin in the chat, kids nowadays will never know the scary feeling of not knowing if the tickets you bought were outside were good or not. That's true. Like, hey, Dad, are we gonna go in or not? Like, you know what I mean?
I experienced that. And, like, it was scary, dude.
That's something
you go first to see if it works.
You know what? That's something that, for example, me, I'm 27 now, but I don't really remember that. I do remember buying like tickets outside, or I remember before kits were cheaper. Like the ticket for a kid was cheaper. I remember that stuff, like going to the stadium without a ticket, like stuff like that. But not knowing my ticket was legit or not, that's something completely new to me. But you know what?
Hey, maybe they should bring back those painting in the faces. You know,
Oh,
you
yeah.
used to pay your flags. You used to pay your
That-
flags right here.
That's the thing
Yeah.
I always wanted. Always. My dad nunca me dejaba que, está muy caro or whatever. Like, no.
Well-
You know, like,
Well, you're fucking. How old are you now? You can pay yourself.
You can do one for yourself.
Well, now that there might be fans at the games, come by the Outlaws tailgates. We'll take some paint. We'll start painting people's faces out there.
Yeah,
For
Chapin can probably pay something for you right there. He'll have like some little quiz for you.
Guatemala, aquí,
Aquí the,
aquí, la Galaxy. Aquí.
or buying those
Yeah.
little headbands. Did you guys ever get those? Someone says say LA Galaxy in the front.
The fucking $10 headbands or $20 headbands.
You know what I miss? Those big ass trumpets.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah, dang, you know what? I feel we're touching on those memories of like the Rose Bowl days or the early, at the time Home Depot Center memories. While being young, right? I think that's something really really cool. And I think a lot of your clothing is inspired in the early days, right?
Yeah, for sure. Because again, like a lot of the memories I just kind of hold very dear to me it's from those days. You know, like I closing my eyes, I can kind of relive those like very early days of MLS. Just again, that whole experience of the tailgate and the game day. And like I remember as a kid, I loved buying like the Rose Bowl. I think they still sell them, pero vendían these like frozen lemonades, and like I would fucking love that shit.
oh,
Me encantaba, you know, I would pick that up, and then los libros que vendían, the game day programs, que like, you know, they were like paper or some shit, los rompía uno, and then I'd be like waiting until like fucking Kobe or fucking whoever metía un goal, and then I'll like fucking throw it in the air.
How does your dad now feel that obviously he took you to the Rose Bowl days and you started off your brand now reflecting those Rose Bowl days with those memories? Like, how does he feel now that like the Galaxy community came out and obviously we have purchased some stuff from you? How does he feel based on that now? How he sees you now with the Galaxy community?
Yeah, just very proud. Like I don't know if you guys are aware, but like I think a couple of months after I launched Countercult, I released like a special edition, like white T-shirt. You know how when Pescado, when he was the team, when he scored, sometimes he'd take off his jersey and abajo decía "Yo amo Bate."
Mm-hmm.
And I always wanted to make that shirt again because I thought it was really cool. But I didn't tell him I was going to make that. And so once I got them all produced and, you know, I launched CSX La Liga as a surprise, and he almost like started crying because he's like, holy shit. And I was like, yeah. And like all these other people bought it too. And he was just, you know, my dad's kind of emotional, you know, so I se pone a chillar, and he's like, oh, you know, like that's cool.
Wait,
you know?
are you gonna cry? Because we'll take it. You cry. We'll take it.
I would. Maybe if I, you know, maybe a couple
Una más.
another beer more. Yeah.
Aquí
No, but yeah,
chillan,
like-
loco. Aquí chillan, no se preocupes. Aquí estamos en familia.
Yeah, look, but honestly, like the reason I'm here, the reason Countercult exists, all of that is because of my dad, you know, and then I'll always hold that, you know, I'll always be indebted with my dad for giving me that passion for the game, you know, like, I think a lot of us might feel the same way about our parents, whether it's our mom or our dad or, you know, whoever it is introduced us to the game at an early age. But yeah, I'll stop there because it's getting a little too emotional.
So obviously with the whole 96 and stuff like that, who started the first design? Was it you? Was it who was it that first came up with the first design that you're like, hey, this is it. This is what I'm going with.
The one, like, you mean like what you're wearing on your hat right now?
Yes, sir.
Dude, I came up with that idea and like driving through traffic on the freeway. I was like, oh shit, because, you know, I wanted to make something that was calling back to 96 and that jersey. And then I remember I was driving through downtown. I don't know if it was like just being in downtown or whatever, if it was Lavino's idea. And I was like, holy shit. So as soon as I got home, I started sketching it out. And I'm like, fuck, like this is good. And so, you know, that kind of became the first design there, or the first shirt design. Because before that, I think I launched Countercult with pins only. But the goal was always to make shirts too, because I thought that's really cool. So when I actually got that design down, I was like, all right, this has to be a shirt. And I wanted to do yellow because, again, as a kid, like my dad had like Galaxian shirts. So like to me, like when I think of Galaxy when I'm a kid, I think of a yellow t-shirt, you know, and so like it has to be yellow. And so that's, you know, that's kind of where that kind of was born. And, you know, it was cool to see that other people really enjoyed that too.
Now that go ahead, Manny.
I was gonna say a lot of the ideas come when you don't even think that you're thinking of it. You
Dude, a
know,
lot of ideas come when I'm in the either like in traffic or in the shower or like just like on the toilet, you know, like it
yeah,
just
you know, even with like say, even with Liga G, even with Community, even with stuff like that, it came out of like random places. It didn't come out just out of nowhere. I think with Liga G, I think I was in the middle of the night and I woke up and I ended up sending a message to Scott. Hey, what do you think about this? He's like, are you really messaging me at 4 in the morning? I'm like, yeah, I just thought about it right now. I just had a dream and I had to put it on a note. And he's like, okay. And then look at us now.
yeah. Look,
Community
like,
was similar
so,
too.
like, I carry a notebook everywhere I go now because you never know when you're gonna have an idea, you know, and then it's just fucking write that shit down.
Yeah, same thing with Kevin. Like
Yeah.
this idea was a year ago, right? Something like
Yeah.
that, 2 years ago, and now it barely came in to play. We're 12 episodes, or how many episodes we're in?
12 in. And it was similar.
Thanks.
Like you had an idea out of nowhere. Well, we had been talking about it, but I wasn't really doing anything about it. And out of nowhere, Manny just calls me like, "Hey, how quick can you get it going?" But you know what? Now that you have gotten here, and everything you've done, overall, how has the reception of the people been?
It's been very positive. Like I mentioned earlier, it was really nice to kind of be like really embraced into this culture. Like, you know, I had friends in the, you know, that are part of the Galaxy community, and a lot of the friends that I have now that, you know, that I hang out a lot with in terms of the Galaxy, I kind of became friends with them through the U.S. men's national team and being, you know, watching games with them. And so it was like, I didn't like a lot, like part of like, I guess the larger Galaxy community, I wasn't really so much a part of. You know, I'd go to the games all the time, but I just really kind of go with myself, my friends, and we just kind of have that experience of like my own little bubble. But, you know, once I, you know, started doing all this, and it was just really cool to see just such a positive reaction to not only just like the stuff that I was making, but just the overall messaging behind it. And, you know, seeing, you know, other brands like 1-2 Threads and, you know, MIS, like kind of share my stuff and like, hey, this is cool. Like that was really cool. And it's just, I was really taken back by I guess the warmth and just the willingness to kind of embrace, you know, this guy who's probably a stranger to a lot of people, just trying to, you know, share his stuff, you know.
And it's funny story because así somos todos. You know, I didn't know Kevin. I didn't know Baltasar 8 months ago, 10 months ago. And now, like, we text every day. I said, me manda good morning. I'm like, what the hell? And, you know,
Yes.
I gotta make sure that it's Baltasar que me manda good morning. And I'm like, like, who the hell me está mandando mensajes? Buenos días.
7 in the
tomate-
morning
to-
messages.
Buenos
yes.
días. Buenos días.
Kevin, ¿quién es el que se levanta más temprano?
Well,
Manny,
you know
right?
what? I think you guys get up earlier because of work. But what's funny is every time my phone vibrates, I'm like, I'm pretty sure it's Manny or Baltasar. Like I think it was like 2 days ago we were texting, right, and I was driving and my phone was just vibrating. I was like, yeah, it's these guys. Something's going on. But you know what? And I think all this, like anything else, came because of everything we're going through, the whole quarantine, all this COVID stuff. I think it has brought us together either through Liga G or Liga Galaxia or us through community and different ways. I think we are becoming closer, and we joked around about this. When we have our home opener, we're gonna have to go with like name tags and put our ads like yeah, because like I know a lot of people on Twitter that I haven't met in person. So I think that's something really, really cool. But you know what? G-Man, I believe, was on the comments. He was asking if in the future you would come up with like designs with like the newer colors, because like you said, a lot of your inspiration has been from before, right? But do you have any plans in the future to come
What's
out
the
with
next
like new?
step for Countercult?
Yeah.
I do actually. In the not too distant future, we'll be repping some blue, white, and gold. So keep an eye out for that. Definitely something I again, you know, they're when I think of the Galaxy, I think of different eras, right? So I think, you know, as a kid, I think I really identify with a lot of the. I guess as a kid, a lot of my, you know, closer, you know, or stronger emotions are, you know, from being in the 90s, but then, you know, the early 2000s with Pescadito. That's a whole other era that I really also really think very fondly of. And then, you know, think of the you know, Galaxy 2.0 or MLS 2.0 when, you know, we got Beckham and we started the whole, you know, the Beckham rule, the DP, all of that bullshit that came around that. You know, I identify with all of those different eras, and especially now with, you know, the way they identify with the galaxy now is just, with the community, like, unfortunately our team has kind of been very disappointed over the past, 3 to 4 years. And so at least on the field, the memories aren't all that positive, but a lot of those great memories and connections are with just the people that I've met and people that I've, got to share my stories with. But yeah, to saying all of that to answer G-Man's question, yes.
I have another question. Are you a time traveler? Did you know that the galaxy were going to come out with these colors again? And two, Jose on the chat says that your pins from the McGee gloves were fire. And did you sent them out to McGee, right? And he actually posted them and stuff like that, right?
I tried. I sent him a DM a couple times and I couldn't get a hold of it. He never responded to me. I don't know if he just gets too many DMs or he doesn't bother to check his DMs. But if any one of you have like a connection to him, like I would love to send him a pin. He did respond to one of my posts, and he responded with a video where he's in his house and he goes and grabs his gloves, like the same gloves that I modeled the pins on, but he just chosen. But he does, as far as I'm aware, I don't know if anyone else has like sent him one, but I've never sent him one. I don't know if he has any. If any one of you can make that happen, let me know. I would love to send that.
Let's set it up. We'll talk to some people to try to see if we can get it out there for you. If you give me a pin or whatever, I'll try to do my best to get it out there. Not a guarantee, but hey, I'll do one thing. I can't guarantee you that I'll give you my 100% try.
Thank you. I appreciate that. But no, I'm not a time traveler. I just, really liked that era and the colors and what they mean to me. And now they do.
And now that they brought them back,
yeah,
it's awesome, dude. But that's a testament to all of us, and Retros y Rarezas, them making the jerseys and that whole, again, my story is the same story for probably hundreds of other people, and that's the Galaxy noticed, and that's why they made this, because it's what we all wanted,
Yes, but you know what? I don't know if you guys are gonna agree with me, but I still feel they haven't taken advantage of it, because if they would have came out with a jacket in this color, with a hoodie, with sweatpants, we would have all bought it. So I
con
think
la
they're
almohada,
leaving.
con un lapicero, con lo que quieran.
Estoy seguro que that's being planned. Like, I'm sure they're gonna try to get on that too.
Yeah, like, look, something as simple as that pillowcase that came out in the first little video of the jersey. Like, I would buy that pillowcase. Or
everyone on Twitter was like, give me everything that shows, the doormat, the mug, the pillowcase, todo,
I feel they're still leaving that opportunity. If they don't come out with more stuff, they're just leaving that there. But you know what? I'm gonna be honest with you, and I've told Manny this. I'd rather spend on my money on your stuff, on 1-2 threads, that I know that it's going to another G instead of it going to Adidas or whoever the money goes to. So whatever you come out with, I'm pretty sure we would all support and buy whatever is coming up. Do you have like a timeline or a time frame of when you want your next stuff to come out?
I'll say before the opening game.
Okay, 3 weeks.
3 weeks.
Is it that? No, it's like mid-April, isn't it?
Like April 17, right? I think it's opening.
Yeah.
We're already in the fucking second week of. I'm already ahead of the time. I'm already calling myself Monday. So we're already in the second week of March. So then,
maybe you're the time traveler, dude.
Hey, time flies, man. Time flies.
It does. But yeah, definitely some really cool things coming up. I think everyone's gonna enjoy it. So keep an eye out for that.
You know what? Marvin's saying to not rub it because some of them won't have their jerseys until April. But it's gonna be right in time for the home opener. So that's something really cool. Pretty much, what is your ultimate goal for Countercode? Like, how far would you like to get with the brand?
Again, like
hold on, another question. Right, answer that one. And would you like to collab with anybody else?
I'll answer them in order. So I'll answer Kevin's question first. As far as how far I want to take it, I don't know. Like, again, it started off as just this idea, just me wanting, like, I'm a graphic designer by trade, that's what I do for a living. So, I just like creating things. I like to create things that creating things for work is different than creating things for, because you enjoy it, and so, I do a bunch of crap for work that I have to do. And I won't call it crap, but I also really enjoy it. But
you love your job. Say you love your job. You never know who's watching. You love your job.
No, I really do. but it's different when you're actually creating something that you're very passionate about, like football and so, all of that, the Galaxy. And so like I again, I'm going to keep creating, things for the Galaxy as long as, try to very hard not to get sued. I'll do that until I don't get sued. But eventually, I don't know. I really don't know where I'd go.
Don't worry, you won't get sued. Just say that Chapin approved it.
Yeah, right. I'd probably make, a few. I'm really thinking of making like U.S. gear again. My other really big passion with soccer is the United States, the US-17, and that's a whole other podcast talking about them. But I'm looking, I'm possibly thinking of making stuff like that, and so that also really excites me. And after that, I don't know. We'll see. As far I'll keep doing it as long as people want to, they enjoy it. And then what was your question, Manny? I kind of got caught up in all of that.
Would you ever want to do like a collab with like another, like like a 1 2 Threads?
Sure.
MIS, or something. I know you did a
Cali Clásico.
Yeah, Cali Classic. I know you did a little like designing for Quesalitos Pro Club teams. We didn't do that well. We kind of messed up, but we're not gonna bring those old news.
No, yeah, I would love to collaborate with anyone. 1 2 Threads is awesome. They're always releasing really, good shit, and I'm a really big fan of what they do. Collaborating with them would be cool. Just anyone that's willing to want to collab. Like I'm down to share ideas, bounce ideas off, and just making cool shit that people want to see. Ultimately that's what I want. Like I said, I want to make shit that I really wish existed, but at the same time, I want to make things that people wish existed, and if people like it, then I'll keep creating it. Whoever wants to, help make that happen, then so be it.
The G-Man is saying on the comments, Countercode and Galaxy Outlaws collab. So you never know, right? And then a big shout out to G-Man. Yeah, a big shout out to G-Man
I have ideas.
Big shout out to G-Man and Greg Vanny. They have a Galaxy Discord. So if you guys want more Galaxy talk, make sure you guys go over there. They had the Godfather today for a Q&A. So if you guys want to, we'll be retweeting their invite. But yeah, I think like down the line, that would be something cool. I know Manny, he probably has tons of ideas, right?
Yeah.
Manny no duerme por estar pensando.
Cerote, sí, porque me mandas good morning, no me dejas dormir.
Tomorrow, watch, Chapin, tomorrow we can have an idea from Manny, watch.
Vale, que ahorita te va a mandar como 5 designs cuando terminemos de hablar.
Tampoco,
ya está pensando.
Cerotes no dejan de hacer nada. Me dicen buenos días, toma tu cafecito y pan y mandame las ideas.
Si la gente quiere, I'll keep making Galaxy Chapin shit, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's I think me and Victor, we have talked here and there. Nothing official. We bounced some ideas and stuff like that, but nothing like to the extreme or like that. But hey, I'm always up for a challenge. I'm always up for trying new stuff that I've never been into. Like what I'm into now. I'm doing podcasting and I've never done this in my life. I didn't even know how to turn on the damn computer.
Now you got like a fucking microphone stand and everything, like you.
Hey, they bought it for me.
Put them out of chat now, huh?
The community company credit.
The community card me lo mandado for Amazon.
Yo no he recibido nada.
Mira,
mira, yo no he recibido nada. Estoy aquí con audífonos todavía.
Not even ni los AirPods.
Esos son de la 99, le compramos para ver si iba a llegar o no. Quiero collab with Countercode and Chapin. La cara de Chapin. El picture ahí estaría chingón ahí.
A pin del Chapin, huh? No, el Chapin se ha hecho famoso. This is his 3rd time with us. And ya quieren camisas y todo el Chapin.
El Chapin?
Para ver.
Because we call Baltasar el Chapin. That's his little nickname. And it's caught on, right, Baltasar? Muchos ya te conocen así.
Ya, mucha gente me conoce por el Chapin.
El nombre artístico.
It's funny because I'll be like, I'm bringing even on Pro Club, like, I'm bringing Baltasar with me to play. And they're like, who's that? I'm like, Baltasar, he plays with us. He's like, but who is he? I'm like, El Chapin. Oh, ese cerote. Yeah, that's good.
And we were talking about the Quexalitos, and you were pretty much like one of our sponsors. Like, how did that come? Like, was that something that interested you, or how did that happen?
Well, again, you know, cuando empecé con Counter Cult, you know, I started to learn a lot more about the Galaxy community and everything that, you know, all of you guys are doing. You know, I one of my friends, I don't know if, you know, some people knows it. I know Manny knows him for sure. Johnny. Yeah. Johnny, I've known him for a long time, going on 10 years now, or something close like that. Again, you know, he's a Chapin también, you know, and so, you know, we've hung out for a long time, and he hit me up, you know, once I started Counter Call, he hit me up like, hey, you know, Kieran, you know, you want to, you know, do something for, you know, for Liga G, you know, or you know, the Liga G World Cup, or I'm sorry, I forget what it was called. And I was like, fuck yeah, like, I'm down, you know, like, I'll, you know, and he didn't ask me for like a logo or anything, but I offer like, hey, you know, let's buy a little crest, because I see all the other teams have like nice little, you know, designed crest. I'm like, fuck it, you know, I'm down to make something. So like, I made something from the school of Guatemala, you know, putting it. But yeah, that's kind of really how it came about. He hit me up, and I was like, yeah, like, I'm down to do something. Or actually, I think I hit him up. Can't remember. I've been drinking, sorry. But
we all have.
Yeah, like that was cool, you know, seeing, you know, and then some people reacted really positively to it, and you know, I think a lot of Chapines really identify with the club, you know, because of the players that we've had, you know, Machón, Pescadito, you know, like that.
I think Pescadito liked one of our tweets, huh? When we were Quetzalitos, I think they liked one of our tweets. Because we had a madrina for the team and all that. Like promotion wise, we were good. It's just not on the field.
On the field,
like Chapines.
I was like, I saw all of your games, and I was like, puta madre, like, really?
Yo a cada rato le decía estos, ustedes dan pena, muchachos, ustedes dan pena.
Hey, you're reliving your childhood again. Damn, again, these will suck.
And you know what's funny is we would play good.
It was Rudy from
Straight from the Sands.
Streaming him, right? Yeah, he was streaming him, and I was like showing up in the comments like, "Que putas, man," you know, like. But that was fun, you know. That was cool. I hope you guys do that again. Like, I thought that was a really cool idea.
Mira que hasta yo les ofrecí una botella de venado a cada uno si ganaban, y eso los motivó.
Hey, we were trying, bro, but for some reason that team was taped that we couldn't score for nothing.
Because we played good. We would play good. We just couldn't score.
Whenever I'm able to get my hands on a fucking console, like, I'm down to get on that shit. I was okay at FIFA back in the day. Who knows? De repente ahí les caigo, you know?
Just
you don't have to be good, bro. Just be fire in the chat. That's all you gotta be. Fire in the chat, you'll be a starter in any team.
Yeah, and it just like, if you do want to play, just put it out there. You never know, someone might let you borrow one or whatever, right? Because I've seen that happen a little bit. But that's something that I found very interesting, was how, like you said, that little World Cup tournament, like you said, you made us that logo and all that. I think that's something really, really cool. But for you, do you see that happening again for you, or was that just like a one and done experience?
What do you mean?
Like, for example, you I'm not sure if it was you reaching out or Johnny, but is that an experience that you would like sponsoring and getting involved with Liga G and all these tournaments?
Like,
yeah, for sure.
I think you were a sponsor for season 2, right?
I was. Yeah, that was cool. Like, it was really cool. I mean, I think it's really. I think the whole idea behind Liga G is fucking amazing. You know, it's. I don't think I've seen that for any other. I don't think any other fucking team has something like that going on with their fans. You know, and then, you know, seeing, you know, with the
I'll confirm here that other supporters from other teams have tried to join our league because they say that we're the best ones to create. And
I saw that. I saw those tweets. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I would love to, you know, because at the end of the day, it's all about, you know, just being part of the culture. And, you know, the culture now is a lot different than when it was back in the day. Now it's evolved into so many different sectors. Now we have the gaming aspect, and, you know, like, I'm just trying to be involved as much as I can. Like, for a long time, I was a big gamer for a long time, like FIFA 9, 8, 10, 11, 12, you know, I was fucking on that shit. But Lego, you know, I got older, I got busy, I didn't have enough time to play anymore. But like, I love that culture, the gaming, and all that stuff. So, you know, like, if the opportunities are there, and you know, I would love to keep being a part of that.
I think
you should. It's fun. Fíjate que yo ni jugaba y Manny me dijo, hey, ¿quieres jugar? And I'm like, nah, bro, I suck in that shit. And he's like, vente con nosotros, Cerote, solo vas a jugar un ratito y vas a ver. Y like, mira ahorita, me dice
Yeah,
siempre te
like
quiero que juegues al
Mira
lado mío.
ahorita, mira ahorita, he has PlayStation, Xbox, a fucking Switch, anda en un PSV Vista. Ya no le para de jugar. He's on a lot of teams now.
I don't want to say I was a pro, but I think I was pretty good back in the day. I know things have changed now, but I never played pro clubs, so like that would be completely new to me. Like the closest thing I played to that was fucking career mode, you know, and playing the just playing the one position and moving up from like FC to Lewis to eventually joining the Galaxy on fucking like FIFA 08 or something. But yeah,
One thing that you touched on that, like, I think with this pandemic and all this that happened, I think it united us more and finding out more about us as a community. And I love it. I think with Liga G, Liga Galaxia, all these podcasts, all these, you know what I mean? People making clothing line coming out it's united us more than ever before. And I'm telling you, the stadium is going to be way different when we go back, because now there's a lot of people that you need to go see before you go into the stadium. So you better make sure you're there 3 hours to say what's up to everybody.
Oh yeah. Like even I mean, I think next week is the 1 year anniversary of the home opener, right? And like even that game had so much like hype behind it. I remember, the pregame and just tailgating and like even when they're walking out, ACB has that whole fucking banner and the lights are going off. Like that shit was wild. Like the season felt like it was gonna be a big season, and we had Chicharritos. It felt like it was gonna be huge. Just in the stands, forget about the field. Just in the stands, it felt like it was gonna be a big thing. Unfortunately, pandemic and our on-field performance, didn't translate into that. But yeah, I think this season, especially now that the team is going to allow some people back in the stadium, I think whenever things do get back to normal, I think the Galaxy community now is even more connected. They're closer for the same reasons that you talked about before, where like all these people that no conocíamos, we've connected more because of the pandemic through through Twitter or Instagram or Discord or whatever. And like Kevin said earlier, we're gonna have to wear name tags to kind of identify us. Be like, hey, yo soy fucking Victor, yo soy fucking Baltasar. Everyone's gonna be giving out shots to each other, because they're like,
if you were drunk already, imagine now that 20,000 people, you could be like, fuck, I'm never gonna make it inside the stadium, bro. I'm gonna be fucking drinking at the tailgate. Nobody's gonna let me out.
Now you have 27 friends, like fuck, kind of like everyone wants to give me a beer, like fuck, but whatever, fuck it, like it's that's what it's about.
Or you show 5 minutes, dormido allá afuera, or you show 5 minutes just to go into the stadium. Oh, hopefully nobody saw me.
No, dude, a veces I would get, we'd get so caught up in the tailgate where like sometimes like there were some games where we didn't go into the stadium until like halftime because we were just like fucking around, we were just drinking too much, and I don't know that I can do that anymore because I'm a little older now. But back then, like it would happen. As soon as you kind of get caught up.
Is that a challenge to see if we can do that or not? Like if you're gonna make it into the stadium or not? Is that a challenge that will get you fucked up before you get there?
Sounds likely.
Because Johnny, that fool drinks a lot of drinks a lot of cognac, or he drinks a lot of bourbon. So fuck that.
Johnny gets crazy. That feels wild. That feels still in that 20s mentality.
Oh shit!
They don't haven't found out Ben Gay yet.
Nah. Oh, it's funny because Ben Gay, like you mentioned earlier, that being that whole playing soccer and shit. Like I was that kid. My dad was that dad cuando yo andaba ahí de niño, fucking playing in AYSO, fucking playing for the Jaguars in Southgate, fucking, just being there. I fucking sucked. Pero, I was there every game trying my hardest and, playing the 20 minutes that the coach would let me play.
You were there for the snacks, huh?
I was there for the orange slices, the Capri Sun, fucking the Bengay, dude. The Bengay and the shin guards. Like, that smell of sweaty shin pads at Bengay, like, I'll always remember that smell.
That's the old man smell, bro. That's when you put on that. That's when Chapin knows it already, bro. Con eso vivo cada mañana.
Hey,
like even before the game, like I'm not even injured, pero toma del Bengay por si las moscas,
Hey, fuimos a jugar la otra vez ahí al parque y el Manny agarró un montón, lo que se puso un montón. ¿Qué estás haciendo? Espérate, estoy calentando. Dice,
Calentando, loco.
Calentando. You know what I want to see?
Caliente con Ben Gay y una cerveza.
Want to see a real Liga G. I'm fucking down for that.
Soon, soon.
Decline, I think, put that on Twitter one time. I'm like, hey, if we're allowed to go back to the stadium and everything goes back to normal eventually, I'm down to talk. I know I have Bob. I know Rudy's in it. I know that. I know a lot of people that are part of supporters and leaderships. So we could try to get that shit going.
Let's make it happen, dude. I'll make jerseys. Fucking do the whole thing.
I'm not guaranteed that the whole tournament is gonna finish, but we'll give it a good 20 minutes and everybody be down just drinking. Fuck it.
We have to play.
Los tiempos van a ser de 10 minutos, loco, para que todos puedan jugar. 10 minutos.
Dos minutos para que,
That's enough for you guys.
It might turn over from a soccer tournament to a drinking tournament, but like, fuck this shit. This is just drinking.
Fucking beer fest or some bullshit.
We'll figure it out, though.
I'm down, dude. I'm fucking down.
Victor, G-Man was asking if you have thought of like making like Galaxy jerseys.
I have actually. I actually have some cool ideas. We'll see. I have to look at who I want to work with that, but I do have some cool ideas, so we'll see.
Let us know. We have some people that do our Liga G jerseys, so let us know if you need to shoot you in the right way or anything like that to making the jerseys.
Oh yeah, for sure. Thank you. Appreciate that.
And then for those, because I know when you start a new project, it could be very intimidating. Anything from a podcast to starting a clothing brand. What advice do you give those people that are thinking that they want to do something, either a clothing brand, a podcast, or anything related to the Galaxy? What advice do you give them to get started?
Just do it. That was my mentality. It's something that I thought about for a long time. And one day I was just like, fuck it, lo voy a hacer, And I did it, and I launched it. And I remember, like, I told myself I'm gonna launch this within a week. And sure enough, I worked really hard that week. Casi no dormí that week. I was just like, fuck it, I really want to make this happen. And then here I am now, and people really like my stuff, and just do it. There really is nothing, especially now. You mentioned earlier about the pandemic, and that also kind of really pushed me to do it. Like, tenía a lot of free time. Like, ¿qué más voy a hacer? Fuck it, lo voy a hacer. And then I did. And, like, people liked it, and that was cool. So, just to answer your question, just do it,
One thing I tell Kevin, like, hey, I tell people, like, just do it. Even if it's just one person. It's one person.
Yeah.
It's one person. Yeah, like, that was my thing. Like, even if one person buys a pin or buys a shirt, like, that was it. Like, I succeeded, And
but now you're Galaxy rich. Now you're Galaxy rich, and you're a successful brand.
Shit, I wish I was rich. Currently, I only have a replica jersey, but I'm working my way up to an authentic. So we'll see.
Why you look at Kevin like that?
And you know what, guys? I want to try something new before we let you go, Victor. Como somos puros chapines, and we'll have Savi for Manny and I. We want to try a new segment that we're gonna call it Sin Paja. And the way it's gonna work is we're all gonna give a few thoughts or opinions about the Galaxy. That's our honest opinion. So I'll get it started while you guys think about it. So Sin Paja, I think that Chicharito's gonna score 15 plus goals this year. And my second one is Sin Paja. We're making the playoffs no matter what. I feel this team is starting to head towards the right direction, and we'll touch on it. But for me, those are my first two. And then Manny, what about you?
Well, first of all, I'm calling you that you're a pajero because that was not scoring 15 goals or plus.
We'll see.
Based on that one, he's going to score 10 to 15. 10 to 15.
And that would be good still, though. I think that would be good, 10 to 15.
Playoffs with this roster, it is guaranteed that we're making playoffs.
Sin Paja.
Sin Paja, we're going to win something to make us in Champions League this season.
And then Baltasar. And before you go, Baltasar, if you guys have a question that you guys want us to answer Sin Paja, just drop it on the comments and then we'll get to it. Go ahead, Baltasar.
Yep. Straight up.
Sin Paja, ahí viene un championship para el Galaxy.
Oh.
This year. Yo creo en Jonathan, loco.
¿En MLS champion?
Yeah.
¿O un trofeo? Yo digo un trofeo.
MLS champion.
Ok, MLS champion. Ok, Sin Paja.
Yeah.
Si
Sin
no,
Paja,
te cortas todo el pelo.
Si no, me quedo pelón, sin paja.
Hey, I heard it. I heard it here.
Hey, I'm gonna click that. I'm gonna save it. And then go ahead, Victor.
Shit. You guys took all the ones that I was gonna say, but fuck it. I'll say Sin Paja. We get some crazy DP.
Oh,
A crazy DP,
my.
Yeah.
like a new one, because we already
A
have
new
two.
one, yeah. 'Cause we currently only have 2 DPs, so you know that
Currently,
that's fine.
so we're gonna have a brand new one.
Yeah. Sin Paja. We'll see.
And you
I
know
don't
what, guys?
Well,
you all took what I was gonna say, so you know that's my. Oh, you know what? Fuck it. Sin Paja, Augie Williams scores. Fucking a hat trick. Fuck it.
he makes it to the first team. Maggie Williams is to the first team,
He's been practicing.
Augie Williams takes it the first team,
He's
and
been
he
trading.
and he benches Zubek.
and he benches Zubek, and he fucking scores.
Ah, well.
Sin
And,
paja,
I
sin
can see.
paja,
You know what? I
Dios
can
te
see Augie
oiga.
Williams playing in the Arizona tournament. I can see that for playing there.
Yeah, look, that fool's gonna play in Arizona, and he's gonna make it to the first team, and he's gonna be. I'm not gonna say the next Bradford because that shit didn't work out, but he'll develop.
There's one in the
Sin
comments,
paja,
and go
Sin
ahead,
paja,
Chapi.
Dios te oiga. Sin paja, Dios te oiga, loco.
And then
Que el suba se vaya.
we have the
Yeah.
Galaxy Guy podcast, so big shout out to him. He says, Sin Paja, Jonathan Dos Santos ya no es calibre de DP. What do you guys think about that? I agree.
I agree with
him.
I agree with that. That fool's DP status on Instagram, but not on the.
But you know what? But Sin Paja, he's gonna be DP caliber this year because it's contract year. He has not been DP contract. This last few years, he's not been that caliber. But this year, he's gonna show up because it's contract year.
Yeah,
I agree with
He
that.
have to. He have to.
and then one more, Sin Paja. Pipo Gonzalez is gonna be the same old Pipo Gonzalez we've been having. I want to believe that he's gonna be good, but I'm not gonna take the risk. And then one more, Sin Paja. I think Derek Williams, Defender of the Year, not of the Galaxy, but of the MLS, if he's healthy.
Sin Paja, People Gonzalez gets benched and he gets moved. Costa Rica showcases him and he gets moved. Our starting center backs is gonna be Derek Williams and Nicholas DePew.
And
I'm
you know what?
fucking down.
They want him in Costa Rica. I think it's Deportivo Liga La Juelense wants him, and he's been over there practicing with them. So to be honest with you, if I'm the Galaxy, I tell him, hey, what do you want to give me? With like,
It's
take
too much
him.
money though. But it's too much money. They're gonna lose.
Yeah, but
know,
at this
you know.
point,
It'll be up to Greg Vanny. I think with Derek Williams, based on his highlights, I've never seen him play. You know, based on his highlights, but he plays left center back and right. And I think DePew will probably be the best center back duo for him, and let Derek Williams lead. Because Daniel Steres showed that he couldn't lead them in the two center back role. Pipo Gonzalez fucking catching gallinas out there. You know what I mean?
How did we not load him off? Like, I don't understand.
Too much money, bro. Too much money. You guys,
He's
you
a
make so
player.
much money. No other team wants him. Too much money. International spot for too much money.
but see, I wouldn't. I think that Alajuelense, I think they would take him if the price is right. And then the Galaxy at that point, I'm like, just go ahead, take him, because in the league, no one's gonna take him because of the international spot and the money, like you say. So he would have to go to Costa Rica, and they want him. I'm pretty sure he would like to go out there. And once the Galaxy has that chance, you cannot get greedy. Just let him go.
Oh, I
agree
will
on-
say one more, or just go ahead, Manny.
I was gonna say I agree on that because there's no other MLS team that probably pulls more Costa Rican fan base. You know, out there. You know what I mean? There's
but-
so there's no other team that's gonna pay that money for him.
I guess, but like, I don't know, whatever. I'm really not a fan of Pipo, and I'm sorry if there are any Costa Rican fans on here, but he's just not good, man.
No, he's
He's
good at
trash.
he's good at the 5-3-2. He's not good at the man marking. He's not good at man marking, but he's good at being a sweeper role.
He
Like,
did have a
on that.
couple of games towards the end of last season, but like, I don't know, man. Like, whatever. I've seen a lot more bad than I have good, so I'm cool with letting him go. But I will say one more. Sin Paja, that new coaching staff is fucking fire, dude.
I was gonna say that too, but all depends on the new coaching staff, a new strategy of playing defense. He might show up. You never know.
You know
You
what?
know what I mean? Different defensive schemes. You never know.
I don't know, man. The coaching staff I believe in. People, I don't know.
And you know what? Knowing how things happen within the galaxy, Sin Paja, Pipo Gonzalez is gonna prove us wrong. I think no one believes in him, and that'll be the funniest thing if he actually has a solid season. And that would be good. You got me. If he's, I think every team needs competition, and if Pipo is competing and making Daniel Steres raise his level or the Pew, that's great for the team. So
I have another question. Okay, so you have Pipo Gonzalez. You just signed Derek Williams. You have Depew. You have Pipo Gonzalez. You're gonna carry 4 center backs.
I think they're at 5 right now, 5 or 6 if I'm not mistaken.
Con el
Plus
que
the G2
trajeron de
players,
Galaxy
right?
too. Yeah.
Plus the G2 players.
Yeah, but I don't think any of the G2 players are like center backs. But for example, right now defenders that are center backs, we have Nick Depew, Daniel Steres, Pipo Gonzalez, and then from there, Derek Williams. So I think that's 5 for sure. That are center backs. And yes, I do
You're
agree
carrying
that
5. You're carrying 5 center backs.
I agree that there are a lot of center backs, but Manny, I'm pretty sure you've heard this as I have heard it from Greg Vanny that they're gonna want as much competition as they can, starting from the defensive side, because they're looking to build this team from defensive to the front, and I wouldn't be surprised if they carry 5 or 6. Right now
Correct.
is yeah.
I would say correct. I have no problem with that carrying, that 5 or 6. But I'm saying, last year we had our problem was not like center backs, meaning they were all healthy to play. Right? They didn't play good. But I'm saying, but they were all healthy. Our wingers were hurt. Our midfielders were hurt. We had no backup center, backup forward. So you're gonna carry 5 center backs, which for the whole year they stayed healthy. Why not just keep 4 that you can fucking try to fight?
But put it like this, Manny.
Hey,
I wouldn't be.
otra cosa.
Go ahead.
Mira, no puedes gastar también tu dinero de TAM en alguien que no te ha servido, como Pipo González. Él a nosotros no nos ha servido más que para perder un partido allá contra los Levas. Entonces, nosotros tenemos que
por eso te hago la pregunta. ¿Por qué vamos a tener 5 centrales de defensa cuando el problema sí era ellos, pero tampoco 5 centrales? ¿Por qué?
Put it like this, Manny, though. But
alguien más en la área.
In my opinion, I wouldn't be surprised if they bring another center back. Like, I'm not saying it's gonna happen, but I wouldn't be surprised. No, look, Manny, the reason if I'm telling you this is because I've heard things, and I wouldn't be surprised if they come up with another one. I don't think it would happen, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Wait, okay, let me ask you this. Let's just say, let's just have those 5. Would you guys want DPU to go down to the G2 and keep playing?
I
think DPU would rather stay up. I think DPU last season actually fought against Daniel Steres and Pipo Gonzalez to be the next starter.
He had a run of good games, Depew, last season. I think it was like a run of like maybe 3 or 4 games. I think he kind of shut down Bella like 1 game too, right? Like it.
Yeah.
One thing that I enjoy watching Depew when he was playing, he's a forward converted to a center back. Mm-hmm. He's comfortable with the ball in his feet with both feet, and you can't teach that to center backs.
It's kind of like Omar. Omar was also a forward converted to a center back, and you could see that in the way they kind of distributed the ball.
But that's why I go. Like I like that he's comfortable with the ball with pressure on him, that he doesn't feel that he has to just kickbox that shit.
Yeah, for sure. I think we need I think we're fine in center back depth. I mean, I'm still kind of iffy on Derek Williams, the injuries and all that, but I think the outside backs is where we need to
Ronald, I'm sorry, had brought up, I think in the chat, he said that Steres has a lot of value. They could sell him. out of those 5 center backs, who do you sell?
Espérate. Pero,
If-
okay, una pregunta para ustedes. Do you guys think Esteres has a lot of value?
He does.
Like playing how he played the 2 last season?
Okay, what value you talk about? MLS value? He does.
Yes.
He does have value.
Like soccer value, like to go out of the team to another country, like no. But MLS value, he does.
It's like Dave Romney a few years ago that he went to, who was it, Cincinnati, or I forget who.
Nashville.
Nashville.
And he made it to the semifinals. I think he
And
was like top defender. He was like top 3 defenders of the year.
And that's because he's American, doesn't require an international spot, and they're not expensive. He's not a TAM defender. But at this point, just like, let's say the soccer that we saw last year, I'd rather move on from Pipo Gonzalez because the salary is higher, and then the international spot. So I think that makes it twice as more expensive than he actually is, just because of those requirements. Now, if he had a green card,
He's
that's a
the-
different story. I could kind of
He's
put
the
up with it.
only. He's the only defender in our back line that holds the international spot. Everybody else is an American.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that does bring us to Derek Williams. He is coming from Blackburn Rovers. Does not require an international spot. So how do you guys feel about that? Go ahead. I know you touched about a little bit about it, Victor, but go ahead and touch on that a little bit more.
Yeah, like I don't know a lot about him. I know that he's had injury problems. But we'll see. Again, I am eternally hopeful because it's just our backline for a long time has kind of been a disaster, and it's we signed guys who we think are going to save us. It doesn't work out. Bipo being a really good example. I remember I was really hyped when he got him because he was a pretty prominent player in CONCACAF, and he had some stints in Europe, but we just need to figure that out. I hope that it works out. It's cool that he has an American passport. He doesn't take up an international roster spot. But I don't know. We'll see. I really don't have an opinion on him other than what I've seen in highlights, as Manny mentioned. But I really do hope it works out. I think our outside backs are something where we also need to kind of look at. But that's kind of where I'm at right now. Like I think as a team overall, we need to just get deeper, especially in our back line. How Greg Vanney and his team decides to spend that money.
Yeah.
Or I don't know, but I'm being hopeful for the season, but I'm also being a little conservative in terms of my expectations. But
You know what? I was gonna say that I kind of like it. He's been in the championship season for quite some time, right?
Mhm.
He's fought, and he's been on the top against 4 teams all the time. So everybody knows how hard it is to get to the Premier League. And Greg Vanney has this thing that he's gotten like championship or Liga 2 players, and they actually became superstars here. He did with Pozuelo. Who knew Pozuelo here? Everybody was like, who is that guy? He was from the second division in Liga, right? In the Liga. And he came and he lit up the season 1 when he came. He doesn't take up an international spot. He has grit. He reminds me a little bit of Yele Van Dam on the highlights.
Mhm.
If we can have a little bit of what Yele or Polenta had in the back line, fuck, that's an upgrade already. Because we
That's the thing about
did
Polenta.
not have that
I talk about
last season.
I talk about Polenta a lot because, he was inconsistent, but that's who fucking tried, Like, that's who ran his ass off for 90 minutes. And that's shit we didn't see last season.
Y Polenta venía de una lesión.
Sí,
Polenta
exactly.
venía de una lesión apenas.
And
cuando
he just
vino.
won a championship.
Yeah, and it sucks that fucking all these players that jugaban para nosotros, they move on and they fucking succeed. Like fucking Jassy, like fuck, like that shit's annoying.
Even Fabio
Yeah,
Alvarez.
Good for them, but
Yeah.
it's not with us.
No, one thing about Polenta, he was never the fastest, but you could always felt that he took the right angles and he had this power behind him. And I think that's what we lack in our back line. And I think Araujo was doing that, but I think he was just too young to lead the way. He had the fight in him, but he needed somebody like a Polenta or a Van Dam or somebody that had that grit that's gonna show him that, hey, this is how you punk these fools around.
Yeah, and that's exactly that's how I see Araujo and the kind of player that he's gonna become. Kind of obviously Jermaine Jones was like a defensive mid, but that kind of grit, the will, como dicen en Inglaterra, to get fucking stuck in, just, get in there, because that's kind of what you need sometimes.
I'm a big ass Gattuso fan because he does the dirty work. Says I'm a
That's fucking
CDM,
cool.
hey, I'm gonna do the dirty work that nobody wants. I'm gonna do this shit and I'm gonna show it.
What does he say? Sometimes they be good, sometimes they be shit, but
O como un Macherano en medio.
That's league. That's our team. That's community. Sometimes good, sometimes shit.
shit,
But we always try.
yeah, for sure. We need that grit in our team, which we haven't had in a while. But I hope we look into that, because that's what makes the difference, and we need those leaders on the team that kind of, like what the fuck, guys, like what are you doing? Like, let's get this shit,
And then, Chapín, ¿cuál es tu opinión ahorita de Derek Williams ahora que ya es oficialmente un jugador de Galaxy?
Yo lo vi, pero no me tomé el tiempo de ver más videos, solo vi los highlights que pusieron y todo. Y se ve de que puede hacer que puede hacer mucho, que nos puede ayudar mucho en la última línea. Lo que me gusta es que sale, a veces le pega como a los Rafa Márquez, cambia la pelota del centro para el otro lado, y lo vi en los highlights, y eso nos ayudaría mucho, porque si tuviéramos a un Pavón, poniendo un ejemplo, eso nos haría peligroso, porque saltaríamos una línea y jugaríamos más a un contragolpe.
Y eso es algo que no se le ha visto a Galaxy en años, algo así. Entonces, como dices, con Pavón, o hay que tocar el otro tema del otro rumor, que es el jugador francés Samuel Grandsir, también un winger de 24 años, que está jugando en Mónaco. Estuvo en loan 2019-2020 at Brest in France también. Now, like you're saying, imagine having speed on both ends, because on highlights, yes, he looked good. I was looking at some highlights of Samuel, but if I show you my Liga G highlights, I look good, right? In highlights. But then,
Wait a minute. You have highlights?
I gotta look for him.
Hey, bro. We didn't even make playoffs. You have highlights? How the hell you have that?
Okay, my Xbox highlights. My Xbox highlights. How you see?
Your Liga Mixa, whatever they're doing right now.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but you guys get the point, though. Like, if we see highlights of any player, even Johnny Gonzalez, he looked good in highlights. I was excited about Johnny when he came last year. And I think, unfortunately, because of the circumstances, he wasn't able to adapt himself. We saw him because of Araujo would get red cards. They will have to pull him out as a sub. Or because of Chicharito getting injured, he had to go play striker. I think he wasn't able to settle. But with this guy,
that locker room was all over the place.
It was all over the place. I think Johnny Gonzalez was kind of a band-aid that they tried to put on the team, but he was just he came into a team that was just kind of set up to fail, and he just, I think on a better team, it would have been a lot better and would have a bigger impact. We haven't had that speed in our team since, obviously Donovan, or more recently Emma Boateng.
I won't say that. I won't say that. I think we had obviously Emma Boateng. I think Dunbar showed some promising, and the MLS is back. I'm not saying that full speed, but he showed a little bit of spark, and we never saw him again. Mm-hmm. I think Wiles showed a little bit of spark. We never saw him again either. Mm-hmm. But I think hopefully with this coaching, they seem more in sync of what is the MLS. People are testing like, oh, what if you brought Piojo? Like, I like Piojo's attitude. I like a grit type of person that got there and talks shit and does that. But would he be successful? No, maybe not, because they're so used to, that's the player I want, that's the player I get. Mm-hmm. And the MLS doesn't work that way. Like, that's the player you want. Well, you got to wait in line because somebody else might take it.
Yeah.
So that's why I think Greg Vanney was the perfect signing for the Galaxy.
It's perfect. Like I was also, when I heard the Piojo rumors, I was like, I'm down. He's a good coach, and again, he's very, he's a big character. He obviously, he knows what he wants out of a team. But like all these foreign coaches that have come to MLS, ultimately, like how many of them have been successful? They don't understand the league. They don't understand our restrictions. They don't understand what a draft is. They don't understand those limitations. And then Greg Vanney, not only has he been with the league from the start, but he's already coached in the modern MLS, and he's won championships in modern MLS.
And he's made a club A small
he's
club, big club.
Exactly. He took a new club and made it a big club, you know, and like you mentioned, Pozuelo, he bought these unknown players and made them stars in this league, which even bona fide DPs haven't had the success that like players like Pozuelo have had, you know.
Not even RDPs.
Exactly. So I think Greg Vanney was perfect on so many levels. I really am. I was really excited about Schelotto when we got him, you know, a couple seasons ago.
I was too.
I really thought he was the guy. I thought like we did it. We finally got the coach that was.
You know what? I think we all got stuck on the damn Netflix Boca. You know what I mean?
Maybe, you know, but then he didn't work out. But then I think I've been done dirty by a lot of coaches, a lot of players. I think a lot of us have. But it's hard to see Vanney it's hard not to see Vanney succeeding with the guy.
It's funny because on our first meeting that we ever had with the front office and the coaching staff, you know, Kevin was on it, about to start, or he's on it. And I told that fool, I was gonna like, man, fuck this shit, man. They gotta do this and they gotta do this, and you know what I mean. I'm like, I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna say that. As soon as that fool started talking, I love this guy. Hey, quickly, like I turned my thing around, like, hey, this guy stole what my brain had. Like, hey, I'm with him the whole time. That's it.
As soon as that tweet went out from Toronto that he's been, you know, he was let go or whatever, however the fuck they worded that, I'm like, that's the fucking guy we need, you know, like I think it's perfect, and I really do think it works out in the way we all hope it does.
I think with playoffs, he's been successful so far.
Yeah, he gets everything about the league, and I'm hopeful that maybe not this season, but that given enough time, I hope he's given the time to build the team that he wants to build.
No, back to Kevin's original question about the 20.
I was about to say that.
I was saying, like, hey, if that guy can bring some speed and can beat one-on-ones, that's all we need. I think we have a midfielder with Seba and Jonah in there that can control that and that can put them that one-on-one on the side. You have Chicharito. Chicharito's going to entertain the two center backs. If you can have a winger that can beat that one-on-one, I won't say like a Pavon type status, but like just somebody that can give him a threat that has that speed, like the Antuna type.
Yeah, Antuna, that's a good. I forgot about him. Or even though Sandini had some speed, you know, he was pretty decent on the ball, and he caused problems when he was going one-on-one sometimes with defenders. But I agree.
Chapín, ¿qué pensaste de tener a un jugador con más velocidad en el lado derecho? Porque como decías de Derek Williams, que puede salir jugando con el balón de atrás, tener la opción en los dos lados, en el lado izquierdo, si estuviera Pavón, en el lado derecho con Samuel, yo pienso que sería una buena sorpresa en el ataque.
Sí, lo que más me gusta es que apenas tiene 24 años. Imagínate tener un jugador 24 años que todavía no sabe mucho de cómo jugar. Claro, es un profesional, pero imagínate que agarre más experiencia, que juegue con un jugador como Chicharito, que juegue con Pavón, que juegue con Dos Santos, y que ellos le digan que se mueva, que ellos le enseñen el lado, dónde moverse para agarrar la pelota y, como dice Manny, tenerla 1-1 con un jugador, podemos tener mucho peligro.
Eso lo que me trae a mí. Es un jugador 24 años jugando en loan en Mónaco, que juega buen fútbol. Y me vas a decir que, pues va a aprender. No, él ya tiene experiencia de jugar. Si lo estás trayendo de Mónaco, ya estás hablando de un niño como Antuna, que estaba de Manchester City en loans en otros pequeños más club. Ese es un club que uno conoce. So, él ya tiene que traer el fútbol ya puesto en él.
Sí, te entiendo. Pero, si te das cuenta, lo llevaron a préstamo. Está a préstamo. O sea que el otro.
Pero hay muchos. Sí, pero hay muchos equipos que tienen. Hay muchos equipos grandes que tienen jugadores en préstamos en Mónaco, en otros equipos menos que están jugando en la Europa.
Pero él está en Mónaco y ha estado en préstamo en dos otros equipos. Entonces también no sé si el Galaxy si fuera a préstamo también. No, eso no se ha escuchado.
Lo que teníamos que esperar entonces.
So you're gonna tell me, like, these Americans that have been on loans, to other teams. They're owned by a big club, but they're on loan to all these other teams here and there, right? The contract is for the big team is for 4 years. They need to look at them to play every time. So
And
that
that's
contract
why-
for a loan for that 1 year, okay, you're not gonna play him next year because now you have a contract with another forward. Okay, I'm gonna loan him out to another team. La cosa es que está jugando. Está jugando.
And that's the important thing. It's like Antuna, like you were saying, same thing with Manchester City. He was not gonna play, so they kept loaning him out to different teams. Here comes the Galaxy. They want him. Okay, cool. So same thing with Samuel. If he comes on loan with an option to buy, I think that's a good deal for the Galaxy.
Ahí está el kid, Akala. He's 15. He's playing here, but he's owned by Manchester City at 18. Right? Because they're like, hey, we're a big team. We're going to do this. And you're another big team. It worked out good with Antuna. If you guys like him, you guys buy him. If we don't need him for our team, we'll sell it to you first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I'm saying he's 24 years old. He's playing in Monaco. He's been alone. Everybody can, he's been alone. He's been alone. But he's owned by a bigger team. That's why he's on loan.
Who's
Not
his team?
He's owned by
Who pays his-
Monaco.
Signs his checks.
He's owned by Monaco.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought it was. Never mind.
So, but I'm saying, but he's loaned because they want him to develop and play, right? And then they know that he's not gonna play on that first team, but
Yeah.
they think that's how loan deals work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to develop this player to either bring him back or sell him
Yeah.
because he's not good at you playing at the bench because you might think like he's worth more.
And
Same
that's
thing
why I
Owns
wouldn't
just
be
to get
surprised. Go ahead.
experience.
Go ahead, Victor.
I said ultimately that's what, yeah, like Manny says, it's just, they're not good enough for their team, so here we're gonna ship him off somewhere and let him get some experience, and maybe eventually he'll be good enough for us. Or if he isn't, well, we'll sell him or whatever.
But he's consistently playing. That's why he keeps getting loaned out. And then wherever
Yeah.
wherever he goes, he's playing.
Yeah, I agree.
And that's why I wouldn't be surprised if he comes on loan to the Galaxy, because same
Nah.
thing. They probably want to continue develop him, and that's why they want to send him here so he could get playing time. And then let's touch a little bit more. There was I think it was Chapin who woke me up today with the rumor, right? Chapin,
Good morning.
on the
Good
little-
morning.
Yeah, that was a little good morning.
Ay, está celoso, mira, está celosa esta mujer.
So the rumor is that Victor Vasquez, 34-year-old from Spain who plays Cam, who has formerly played for Greg Vanney at Toronto FC. He played from 2017 to 2018, 16 goals and 52 appearances. That seems good, but that was a few years ago. That was like 4 years ago. Now he's 34. How do you guys feel about that rumor?
Hold on. Are you saying 34 is old? So I can go out there and fight you.
I'm not saying it's old, and I really hope he comes and he does good. But hearing what Greg Vanney has said, that he wants players that are either in their prime or close to their prime to hit it. I was seeing his stats, and I don't know how legit they are online, but those stats do not show me someone that's in their prime. And I hope he comes, if he comes, and he proves me wrong. I really hope that. But just looking at the numbers, that does not show me someone who's in their prime.
I had a question, and I know we talked about it in our Discord. When did he just really play Cam in Toronto? Because if you look at it, this last 2-3 season, it's been Pozuelo.
Mhm.
Before that, it was Jovinko. So when does he really play Cam as a Cam role?
I think that was
Second of all-
before, yeah.
And then my second question is, what if they're bringing him in for his experience to teach Efra Alvarez to be our new Cam?
That I had thought that maybe he wanted to have someone that was part of his previous teams to kind of be like a leader, kind of how you say. And we heard a lot of rumors, even though it was shot down a lot of the times, of Jovinko. But maybe that's the closest thing he could get. Maybe they're not expecting him to play. Maybe they're bringing him for the experience. And if that's the case, I think it's fine. The only thing is, do you really want to lose an international spot for that?
Mira, también acordate que así como estamos, y si los jugadores juegan bien, que esperemos que jueguen bien, Jonathan se va a ir. Vamos a tener a Efraín, como dice Manny, pero no vamos a tener a alguien con experiencia y tal vez para eso lo trae también, si lo es que lo quiere traer.
Is he smart enough to play a different role other than Cam?
That I don't know, man. We got to reach out to him and see what can he really do. But pretty much Ronald saying that he thinks he's a locker room signing, so I think he's agreeing with you, Manny.
That's what I thought. He's a locker. He's there for like as a mentorship. To
But like I told him in the chat, I'm like, but that's what we have Sasha for.
Yeah, but this is a guy who is Greg Vanny's guy, and I think that's what makes the difference.
Yeah, you know what? I can agree with that. That I can totally agree with that. You always need one guy. That's why I have Chapin with me all the time. I need one guy that's always gonna be with me. That
Ya,
think
decirle
like
a todos que soy tu marido.
Oh, Cerote. ¿Cuánto tomaste, Cerote? ¿Cuánto tomado? Una cerveza te tomaste. Una IPA te tomaste. Ya comenzaste.
Yeah, so I think it's an interesting rumor because if it happens, because you never know if he comes and he actually tears it up. But if he is a locker room guy, I think that's a high price to pay because look with Sasha. Why do I don't have a problem with Sasha? Because he is a local player. He does not require an international spot. Because I want to take care of these international spots. If someone's gonna have it, it has to be someone who's gonna make a difference in the game. Even if they're not a starter, there's someone that you could bring off the bench and they're gonna make an impact. And you never know. Maybe he is. I'm gonna be honest with you. I haven't really seen him play. I just saw highlights, but there's just so much we could take out of his highlights.
Yeah.
True. Agree.
He's what, like 34, right? Or something
34.
Like yeah.
Yeah. He's still young. He's young, so
Yeah, fuck you guys. If you guys caught 34, you guys caught 34 old, fuck you guys.
Yeah, I'm not too far.
Yeah, but fuck that shit.
And then I just have one more question for you guys around this same topic. How do you guys feel now with the roster? It's starting to take a little bit more of a shape. Now we added a defender. There seems that Sam is going to be announced next week. So how do you guys feel about this roster now? Go ahead, Victor. Sin paja.
I'm Sin paja. I'm still not convinced. Like we're the Galaxy, right? And we've taken a very different approach to how we define success. You look at teams like Atlanta, and they spend big on younger, South American players, or you look at other teams with, they find, like Philadelphia last season, where they find success with relatively unknowns and just the players with their academy. And I don't know that we've built an identity yet in terms of how we produce or how we sign players. Well, I retract that. I think with the identity that we've built in terms of how we build success is signing high-profile players, where at least in the past, maybe 5 or 6 years ago, they would pan out. But over the last few years, maybe they haven't. But I still think we're a few signings away from being just a really solid team, especially in our back line. I'm still not convinced. Our striker position, I don't know. I still also feel like we're not. I mean, Chicharito, we have Chicharito, but we still need a decent backup. He gets injured. Where are we at? We're back to Zubak. Like, I'm not convinced. I mean, we have Augie, but I don't know. It's hard because you think of teams of the past, but to answer your question, I think I'm not convinced yet, but I'm hopeful. I don't know that this season is it, but I think what I mentioned earlier, Vanny's given enough time to build the team that he wants. I think over the next couple of years, you're really going to build a solid team.
I think I would say Sin paja. I think we already have our 3 DP spots taken, and he's going to bring a Cam, and he's going to be under 23 years old.
Down.
So I'm okay if he brings Vasquez to be his guy to come in to do those. If you can have that, let's just say you have that 22-year-old run you for 60, 75 minutes, and you bring in Vasquez in to bring the last 20, 15 minutes to close out a game or give you that extra spark, I'm cool with that. And if that means Sasha is just a locker room guy, well, fuck. Sasha's Seba's backup, I guess. Because Sasha's smart enough that he could play that role to take away passing lanes. You know what I mean? He doesn't have to be that box to box guy. He's not that box to box guy. He doesn't have that legs no more. But he's smart enough to be that help CDM.
See, who's our box to box? I mean, is it Jonah? I mean, who's our box to box? Like, I
It's
feel
gonna
like
be Seba. It's gonna be Seba.
I don't know, man.
Him and Jonah played good together. They do. They don't lose the ball a lot. All they need to know is have a cam that can run more than they do.
All right. Well, I'll let you all answer Kevin's question, but I have a question for all of you after that.
Chapín, ¿cómo pensás que se está viendo este equipo ya que agarran un defensa más? Está el rumor del winger. ¿Cómo ves a este equipo ahorita?
Sí, y lo del winger llegar a ser, ya estamos agarrando, como dicen, ya tenemos pies, ya empezamos a caminar por el camino que tenemos que ir. Esperemos que, pues, como dice, si Manny dice que ya tenemos 3 DPs, quisiera saber quién es
Pajero,
el
no le
otro.
creas.
¿Quién
Pero
es el
yo estoy
otro?
diciendo, like, there's no rumors for another DP. So I'm saying they already know or have somebody lined up already.
That
or
I
they're not
agree.
going to sign nobody.
I agree with
or
you.
they're not
Oh,
going to
yeah.
sign nobody. But there's no rumors for that third DP. So it's either they already have them,
Yeah.
1. 2, they're not going to sign nobody for that DP and wait for summer.
And you know what?
Because there's no big names. There's no
Yes.
nothing that is DP caliber rumored towards us, right? We had Vasquez. We had the French guy, right? They're not DP caliber.
That's all we
people,
have right now.
right? So I'm saying like there's either it's said and done, or they're gonna wait for summer, and
Yes.
Greg Vanny's gonna be like, I'm just gonna wait.
And I agree. And I think, to be honest with you, I think it's closer to the first option you gave. I think they already got their guy. They're just being patient with it. But if not, I'm okay with them waiting for the summer. Like, be patient, get it right. If you have one DP spot, you got to get it right. You can't just be, let's bring so and so, or let's do this. No, all these band-aid signings, leave them in the past. It's time to start making decisions right. Take your time. In the summer, a lot of these big European clubs, a lot of their players start leaving.
Here's another question. What if they don't use that DP spot, right? What if they don't use it, and they sell Jonah in the middle in the summer? You have 2 DP spots that's gonna complement Chicharito now.
And that's fine. That would
That's
be
fine. That's what I'm going with.
Yeah.
They've already had their mindset. Is either we're wasting it or we're not, because there's no other big names tied into us.
¿Qué pensás, Chapín?
That's true.
Sin paja. A ver, Cerote, a ver.
Espérate. Por una parte eso es pajero, pero mira, sí, es cierto. Si ellos se quieren esperar para el verano, a mí, yo no tuviera ningún problema con tal de que nos trajeran algo que nos sirva. Porque ya, como dicen, Jonathan Dos Santos ha estado aquí y Chicharito ya estuvo por 1 año. ¿En qué nos sirvió? Más que para meter un par de goles. Jonathan Dos Santos en el primer año sí lo hizo bien. Ahorita sus lesiones no lo han dejado. Y Pavón fue el único que nos probó que puede jugar para nosotros. Y son jugadores como él los que necesitamos. Esperemos que pues, el Galaxy ya esté buscando, si Pavón no regresa, esté buscando a alguien de su calibre para que podamos tener un mejor equipo.
Yeah, yo pienso que ahorita el Galaxy está en buena posición, because I'm not expecting us to be champions this year. If we make a run, awesome, perfect, I'll be happy. But I'm not expecting that. I'm just expecting this team to start making the right decisions, bringing the right players, putting themselves in the right position to get players. Like Manny said, maybe you have to be patient. Let's say Pavon's not coming. Don't get all happy and just go and offer big money to the first DP that comes your way. No, be patient. Make sure that we make the right decision. But let's go ahead and move into a little more happy talk. It has been announced that there will be fans at the first Galaxy game. California is starting to move their restrictions a little bit. So, Chapín, ¿cómo te sentís que ahora ya va a haber afición en el estadio?
No sé, lo primero que sentí cuando vi el anuncio, dije, fuck, ya voy a poder ir.
Si te
Es
dan
lo que estaba
permiso.
esperando. No, ya.
Before you
Ya,
guys
ya
answer
pedí
that,
permiso.
okay, before you guys answer that, there's I like some good questions right here in the chat. Galaxy Podcast guy said Pavon's worth it, and then Ronald asked for 10 million, they can easily get someone similar to Pavon. I disagree with that. You know why?
I think the pandemic and
Pavon,
all this has brought down his value.
correct. I was gonna say that Pavon before pandemic he was worth 20 to 20 plus million.
Mhm.
If you're a business guy, you buy cheap, you sell high, right? Right
Yeah.
now, you can buy cheap, even if you were to buy him for Pavon, and all the allegations is clear. You know, what I mean, all that is good for him. If you could buy him for 10 and then flip him for 20, 24 million, that is a good business deal, no matter what you do.
But see,
Yeah.
where I agree with Ronald a little bit is where he says 10 million is a lot of money. So I think you could go and find a good player, a good young player, younger than Pavon. The only thing is that he might not be fully developed. That's the thing. It's like what
But
that.
you're gambling like a Lamiron.
Yes, exactly. That's the
Yeah.
point I was going.
Mhm.
Like, for example, with 10 million, you could go and get yourself a young player that you can make more money. But here is it, do you want to take that risk and that gamble, like you said, and going to get a player? And what if he's a flop and and then you lose your money?
I was gonna
Or
say
do-
that. Okay, what Atlanta did with Almiron and Barco and all these other young kids that were coming from Paraguay, you know, Argentina, Uruguay, and all that. You have to remember who was their coach, Tata Martin. He has a lot of influence in the South American countries that he knew those players coming up that they were going to get sold eventually. Now, that was our GBS. That was our Pavon to flip him. That's why
Yeah.
we got him on loan because we were going to make money off of it. You know, Greg Vanny, does he have those connections down in South America? I'm not 100% sure. He brought in Pozuelo. He has done great in the MLS. Can Toronto flip him in Europe? I don't know about that because he's a little bit older than these other youngsters.
Yeah.
Pavon, remember, Pavon's still 24.
But see, like, is he fully developed? I don't know.
Hey, if hypothetically, if he was here with no allegations and he was under our contract and he wins as a championship next season, will you guys be mad if he left at 25 going to Europe? About
No,
to hit
as
his prime?
long as we don't buy him for 20
No.
million. At 20
Right.
million, I didn't want Pavon at 20 million. Like, I thought that was way too much money to play.
That
That's how
was
much.
way too much money, yeah.
That's how much we should sell him for, not buy him for.
Right, but now you can buy him for 10 and sell him for 20 plus if he has a great season and when hopefully the world is coming back to being normal again.
you
Yeah.
know what? I don't know if we could sell him for 20.
Even if you make it 15,
Yeah, 'cause
18,
24.
you still come out with a championship or CCL and you sell them. You
At
break
this point,
even.
I'm happy with a U.S. Open Cup, man. I just want to win a championship.
I'm saying, if you break even, you still won.
Yeah.
Well, yes. We break even and he performs, like, that's a win. You know? Like,
That was if he was under contract.
true.
Yeah.
True.
But I'm saying,
If-
like, at what like I said, those 10 million, you're gambling on a youngster that's 23 and younger, right?
Yeah.
That's why that new rule is. That's why I feel that
That
Joker,
young Cam.
that youngster Cam is gonna come through that because you don't have to pay him those 10 million. You can pay him those maybe 3-5 million, and you can still sell them out again.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Our-
again, I think it comes down to understanding because MLS is so complicated behind the scenes, and I think that's why Greg Vanny's a good choice because he gets all of that,
Shit, I can't even get Liga G, bro, and I'm in the damn administration. I fucking let Scott do all that shit. Like, what is that? Like, what the fuck?
Dude, like, when
bro, I don't
MLS
know all that. Talk to me in English.
When MLS trades when they trade, like when you see teams trade like allocation money for allocation money, it's like, what the fuck are we doing?
Like Galaxy had to pay DC United in order to get Derek Williams because they had the discovery rights. They had to pay them. It's like today I was on the
Like, I saw that motherfucker on the highlights. I discovered him.
yeah, no, exactly, and that's what I was gonna tell you. To touch a little bit on Liga G, I was seeing the questions and answers of the Godfather on the Galaxy Discord, and they asked him like if he would be interested in playing in Liga G. And then in my thought is like, man, we have to, Galacticos has his discovery rights, so when he decides to play, he got to come with us. If not, they got to pay us something, right? But this is what happens with this league, and this is a topic for another time. But in order for this league to be able to compete consistently against Mexico and even leagues in South America, they gotta get rid of all these little rules, man. I think it just limits the league. But let's go ahead and touch a little bit on pretty much going back to the stadium. Chapin, you were answering, but so have you imagined yourself walking to the Dignity Health Sports Park with your tech green and are you ready for that? Is that something that you have been thinking
Yeah,
about?
I'm ready for that. I'm ready to like get some drinks with you guys before going to the stadium. Creo que voy a ir, como dice Manny, como 5 horas antes para ponerme bien a verga y entrar. Like, así disfrutar del partido y decir, like, puta, dale como 3 vueltas al estadio para decirle que, like, I miss you so much.
Hey, Baltasar, los vamos a poner bien a verga, vas a ver.
Yeah.
Ese Rode, I miss you so much. He sees me every day.
Al estadio pisado, no.
Yeah.
What about you, Victor? Have you thought about how would it be going back to the stadium, or is it something that are you gonna hold off, or how do you feel about returning?
I'm a little on the fence. Again, I love the team. I love the game day experience, but also, I live with other people, so I also have to be mindful of exposing other people, loved ones. And so like I'm excited to go back. Will I go back immediately? I don't know. There's still a lot of question marks, because as much as I love the game and the team, my life and the life of others, it's a whole other
Absolutely.
thing, and so maybe I'll wait for a little bit, maybe I won't. I don't know. It depends on what April 17th where we're at, but
Yeah.
I really do want to go back and just experience all of that. Like, again, like I think next week is the a year since the home opener, and that shit was fucking wild. Like I fucking want to experience that again. Pero yeah, I don't know. It's just question marks right now, man. I really do want to go back.
Yeah.
Now that being part of this bigger community, I really do want to get to know everyone and just experience the game day experience on another level. Pero pues we'll see.
I think even just the team coming back and the season starting, like even just being able to see them on TV, I think that's exciting. And then if we get the chance to go to the game, that's a plus. To be honest with you, but Manny, how do you feel about the newest update that there's gonna be fans at the stadium?
Fuck. For me, I'm gonna be at the stadium. Can't wait to cheer them on. Obviously, I'm gonna respect people's spaces. So if I have a beer, don't think that you're gonna take a waterfall off of my beer. I'll fucking punch you. You know what I mean? I'm gonna respect the guidelines. I'm gonna try to be as safe as possible, and obviously for me and for others. I just want to hit the drum. I probably lost the beat already, but I have to make sure that it's in my heart already. So once I get that drum, I'm already getting going. I'm gonna go take them out of the back, dust them off, clean them up, get them right. Whether it's just 5 of us, 10 of us, 1,000, 2,000, 27,000, we're gonna give it our all once we're there. Just the people that go, if they decide to go, just respect other people's space. That's all I'm asking. You know what I mean? I know all of us have that itch that want to go back.
Yeah.
Same thing like Victor says that we all might live with somebody. We might also go with somebody. Just go out there. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be mask required. So even if it's not mask required, consider yourself wearing a mask just to be safe. To try to get, if we're only allowed to get like 3,000 people in, if we all take the cautions and we all do ourselves a favor and do that shit right, we might get another 3,000 in. You know what I mean? We're only helping ourselves.
I looked up
Let's do that.
7,000 and it's like 5,400. So we might,
That's all I say. If we do it, whoever gets to go and decides to go, if you do it right and you respect people and like, you give yourself the guidance that or the guidelines that they're doing, you might get another 2,000 people in. So let's just do that as a team. Let's just do that as a team to get ourselves our 20,000 people back in.
Yeah, it's kind of on all of us to make that happen.
Yeah, it is, and it starts with the first people that are going to the first game.
Yeah.
And let's touch a little bit on preseason, Baltasar. ¿Qué es lo que tú quieres ver del equipo ahorita en pretemporada cuando ya empiecen los partidos? Porque van a haber varios partidos de pretemporada. ¿Hay ciertos jugadores o el estilo de juego? ¿Qué es lo que tú estás interesado de ver?
Ahorita, pues, la verdad no le exijo mucho porque como apenas se están conociendo, vinieron jugadores y hay otros jugadores que ya han estado aquí y van a tratar de meterlos al sistema de juego. Yo solo espero que ganen, que suben la camiseta y que dejen todo, que es lo que todos queremos.
And then, Victor, what do you expect out of preseason? Is there anything you want to see from the team?
Same thing as Baltasar. I just want a team that's competitive, that's out there, that's fighting for every ball, that's, like the MLS is back tournament. I think about that a lot, and it's like, fuck, that was such a crazy
low point in the team.
thing to see. That was such a low where it's like, unfortunately, Chicharito was like the way that he played kind of defined what the team was like at the time, where it's like it was just no one was trying, and it was just very disappointing. And I really, at least in the preseason, I just want a team that's competitive. And to translate that into the season itself, like I think we have a good enough team to make the playoffs. After that, to me, it's just anything after that is cherry on top. So, again, I just want us, challenging every ball, getting stuck in, as they say in England or whatever you want to call it, and just fucking putting in some work, running, like it's like that's what that's what we.
Fuck that shit, man. We're the Galaxy. I want to go undefeated preseason, Arizona tournament, the whole season, U.S. Open Cup, undefeated all year round, baby.
For me, like Ronald says in the comments, for the team to stay healthy. I think that's the first thing I want. The team to stay healthy. And then I want to see Chicharito. I want to see if all these workouts he's doing, if he's in shape. Like, say, if he plays 30 minutes, I just want to see him be in shape those 30 minutes.
Well, he's going to be in shape like Rolf.
Have you seen those legs?
On Instagram, he'll be doing all that shit.
Those quads, that shit, he's fucking better putting work.
But I seen him on Twitch. That fool sucks.
Yeah, so that's what I want to see. I want to see Chicharito. I want to see him get into a rhythm. So when season starts, he's not trying to get himself into a rhythm like he did last season. So I want him to get into a rhythm early in preseason. And I want to see how the defense starts gelling. Like we said, there's a lot.
I was going to say, like, you want to have him get in rhythm, but it all starts with the team. If the team's in rhythm.
Yeah, but
because, he does not set the tone of the rhythm of the team.
Yes, I agree.
He's not a leader on the field.
Yeah, he is the last person like that. He cannot set the tone of the rhythm team. If the team has rhythm, he's gonna succeed.
Yes, I agree. But the one-on-ones that he has, like the ones that he will flow over the crossbar, that's the little things I want to see. Like that has nothing to do with the rest of the team.
If you have to pick a song that the team has to dance to get the rhythm, what song do you guys want them to dance to? A little punta, a little merengue. But you know what I mean?
La bala.
What do you guys want to?
Lo mejor es que bailen de todo, loco.
Bad Bunny, ¿qué quieren?
Yeah, you know what? That's what I want to see. I get your point, Manny. You are absolutely right. But it's just like those one-on-ones, those little things that I want to see him that he's in soccer shape. And because it's one thing to be in shape, but it's another thing to be in soccer shape. I just want to see him getting his touch back, not putting the ball over the crossbar. Those are the little things, and that has nothing to do with the team. That's on him. But we are gonna start getting the opportunity to see that. The first preseason game is against San Diego Loyal. That one, I believe we're not going to be able to see, but all the other games are going to be either streamed on the Galaxy website or on TV. So that's going to be something really exciting to see. Anything else from you guys? Oh, you know what? Before I forget, let's touch on Liga G. The playoffs started, and really sad story. It was us and Walnut, right, who were on the bubble to make the playoffs. And we both laid an egg, especially us. Lost our 3 games, Galacticos. and we missed the playoffs. And here came Barcelona, and they sneak into the playoffs, right? And not just sneak into the playoffs. And before I say what happened, you guys remember that little preseason survey we did? We were right? We said Barcelona was one of the favorites to make it to the playoffs and make it to win the championship for season 3, and they upset Galacticos. Manny, what could you say about that series?
Uh, nah. You know what? I've told you guys from the beginning, Barcelona. If they were to put it together, they're a great team. They struggled in the beginning part, and I think at the second part of the season, they came in like, "Hey, fuck it, it's all in." They have nothing to lose. When you're a team that has nothing to lose, you're a dangerous team.
Yep.
And they, like you say, it was Galacticos and Walnut fighting, and CD Angelinos were fighting for the last spot, and nobody saw Barcelona coming in, creeping up from the back into the last game when everybody was like, "What the fuck? They're on top of us." You know what? Kudos to them. Kudos to them to keep going,
Yeah.
keep fighting every game, and actually find themselves in the semifinals. I hope that the Cinderella story keeps going.
And then just to touch real quick on the semifinals, we have Beer Belly Boys against Barcelona, and then Rhino against Pineapples. And those two games are Sunday, March 7th, and then the final being on March 14th. So like you said, I'm excited to see how far they could go. And just with me personally, I didn't turn on my PlayStation until Wednesday. I was really heartbroken. This time it really hurt. Last time that we didn't make the playoffs, I it didn't hurt as much because, like you said, we were like Barcelona. We were out of it, and then we put ourselves on the last day in a chance to make the playoffs, and unfortunately we couldn't. But this year, I was thinking we were gonna make it. Like we had it, and we just blow it at the end, and it hurt. Like
Yeah.
Chapin told me the same
We-
thing. We were both thinking about retiring. That's how bad it
Yeah.
was.
Somebody,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Porque fíjate
I
que-
hate. I was gonna say I hate the one to say it, but somebody calls a penalty and causes a game for us. You know what I mean?
Don't do that to poor Chapin.
what that
Come on.
happens. Oh, I didn't say names, fool. I didn't say names.
No.
No
Nah,
era
esto-
penal.
like, igual, no era penal. Este es el emoji que te mando siempre, no era penal. No, I don't know what happened to us, pero like, la oportunidad la tuvimos nosotros. Nadie más nos podía ayudar más que nosotros mismos.
Y sí
Nosotros
dolió,
mismos la
¿verdad?
cagamos.
Porque
Nosotros
a
mismos
mí
la
esa vez
cagamos,
sí
entonces,
me pegó.
Son
Like,
cagones, le gusta cagar.
a llorar al cuartito ahorita.
and you know what? Even though now with Liga Galaxia, even though it's just a tournament, I don't know what's the layout, but I really hope my team wins it because ya me estaba
We're gonna fucking beat y'all
decepcionando.
too. We're gonna fucking beat you guys too. Fuck you guys. We're gonna stay champions.
You know what? Ya me estaba like I was getting frustrated with pro clubs. I was like, man, with Quexalitos nothing happened. Now with Galacticos, but you know what? It's fun. At the end of the day, that's what's
So
important.
you're the bad luck, fool. I'm sorry to know this. You're the bad luck, dude.
I don't know, man, because like in Liga Galaxia, Rudy and I are both the center backs, and I think we only gave up 2 goals in the 2 games, so we're doing good. So
So Rudy has a happy stream now, huh? He's happy in the stream.
yeah, and no, like yesterday, me and him were like, "Oh, this is how it feels to win." But no, you know what? And we've talked about it, right? But Chapin, how are you feeling? Are you excited for the Xbox season?
Yeah, something new for me. Well, I never play Xbox. Y para decirte que nunca había jugado Xbox hasta que me metí a jugar con los de Straight for the Stands. Like, shout out to them, que me dan la oportunidad también de jugar ahí.
Yeah.
It's fun porque también conoces mucha gente más y es lo que pues a veces a todos necesitamos. Like, te distraes un poco, juegas. Aunque a veces, like, como esta vez cuando nos pasó con Galácticos, sí te decepcionas porque todo el tiempo que inviertes ahí practicando, todo lo que haces y para que de
Para
último te
cagarla.
manden a la mierda, fuck. No, man.
Cerote, para cagar no se estudia, cerote, nomás se sentás.
Sí. Yeah.
No, hey, but tune in to this Sunday. I think we have Beer Burley's Barcelona. It's gonna be a good game. You know, Beer Burley has everything to lose. Barcelona has nothing to lose. Beer Burley is the top team, top scoring team, top defending team. So, you know, they're looking to get away from that semifinal they did season 2. Barcelona is looking to become the Cinderella story. Keep going. As an OG original. And then GSPN with me and Brun is gonna cover Pineapples versus Rhino, which I think that is the best matchup right now because it's gonna be a fight in the middle, and both teams are looking, Pineapples looking great going in. Rhino struggling at the end, but I think they're gonna come up and show up their championship pedigree players that they have in there. So I'm excited about that game. I think that's the game to watch. Pineapple versus Rhino is gonna be a tight game, and they know each other very well, so it's gonna be very good.
All right, guys, let's go ahead and start wrapping it up. Just some community stuff. Make sure if you guys want to talk more Galaxy, join that Galaxy Discord. They're doing some pretty good stuff over there. And then always tune in to all the Galaxy podcasts. I we all have a little different. We're all doing something different. So make sure you guys tune into all of them. And then I know 1-2 Threads has released a new collection. I believe it was like last week. So if you
I
guys
want to
need
get
some
that
new,
beanie, bro. I want to get that beanie. That beanie's
yeah,
hard.
if you guys want some new Galaxy gear, make sure you guys hit him up. And then Victor, where could people get in touch with you?
On Instagram, Twitter, countercult_cc, website countercult.cc. Like I mentioned earlier, I'm releasing some new stuff over the next month or so. Celebrate the new season, and hopefully we can all be wearing new Countercult gear at the Stubby this year. Yeah.
Like rich Galaxy fans, right? And then
Yeah, exactly. Dignity Health Sports Park. I still call it the Home Depot Center sometimes.
I call it home, bro. I call it home.
and then
I call this house my second place.
Yeah, and that's that's our second home. There's
Yeah.
We're gonna catch you up.
Instagram and Twitter at El Chapin87.
And then Manny?
You can find me on Twitter as at Manny2_G. And if you want to catch me on Liga G, I'm at NEK Juicebox. I forgot fucking my Xbox shit. Just take me up on Twitter. Fuck that. You'll catch me. And if you guys want some community after dark, you want to come in talk to us about anything, feel free to join the Zoom after that.
Yeah, I just dropped the link for that. And then with me, I'm on both Instagram and Twitter under Kevin_U10. And then follow Community_G on both Instagram and Twitter. And then for next week, we're working on getting a guest. Like we do every show, but make sure you guys tune in. It should be a good one. We'll be confirming. Once we get a confirmation, we'll be dropping during the week. So we'll see you guys next week at the same time, 9:15. And thank you for being with us. See you guys next week.